Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. Are we in a housing bubble in 2021? Bonjour, my name is Marie-Noël and welcome to Northwest Living with MN Homes. Home values appreciated by about 10% in 2020 and they are forecast to appreciate by about 5% this year nationally and even more than double that number in the Puget Sound area. This has some voicing concern that we may be in another housing bubble like the one we experienced a little over a decade ago. Here are 3 reasons why this market is totally different. This time, housing supply is extremely limited. The price of any market item is determined by supply and demand. If supply is high and demand is low, prices normally decrease. If supply is low and demand is high, prices naturally increase. In real estate, supply and demand are measured in months' supply of inventory, which is based on the number of current homes for sale compared to the number of buyers in the market. The normal month's supply of inventory for the market is about 6 months. Anything above that defines a buyer's market, indicating prices will soften. Anything below that defines a seller's market in which prices normally appreciate. Between 2006 and 2008, the month's supplies of inventory increased from just over 5 months to 11 months. The month's supplies was over 7 months in 27 of those 36 months, yet home values continue to rise. Months inventory has been under 5 months for the last 3 years, under 4 for 13 of the last 14 months, under 3 for the last 6 months, and currently standing at 1.9 months, a historic low. Locally here in Snohomish County, the numbers are even more historic. Remember, when the supply is low and the demand high, prices naturally increase. This time, housing demand is real. During the housing boom in the mid-2000s, there was a lot of unfounded market optimism that lacks a real foundation on fundamental valuation, but instead rests on psychological factors, or in other words, irrational hype. Without considering historic market trends, people got caught up in a frenzy and bought houses based on an unrealistic beliefs that housing values will continue to escalate. The mortgage industry fed into this craziness by making mortgage money available to just about anyone, as shown in the Mortgage Credit Availability Index published by the Mortgage Bankers Association. The higher the index, the easier it is to get a mortgage. The lower the index, the more difficult it is to obtain one. Prior to the housing boom, the index stood just below 400. In 2006, the index hit an all-time high of over 868. Again, just about anyone could get a mortgage. Today, the index stands at 122.5, which is well below even the pre-boom level. In the current real estate markets, the demand is real, not fabricated. Millennials, the largest generation in the country, have come of age to marry and have children, which are 2 major drivers for homeownership. The health crisis is also challenging every household to redefine the meaning of home and to reevaluate whether their current home meets their new definition. This desire to own, coupled with historical low mortgage rates, make purchasing a home today a strong, sound financial decision. Therefore, today's demand is very real. Remember, if supply is low and demand is high, prices naturally increase. This time, households have plenty of equity. Again, during the housing boom, it wasn't just purchasers who got caught up in the frenzy. Existing homeowners started using their homes like ATM machines. There was a wave of cash-out refinances which enabled homeowners to leverage the equity in their homes. From 2005 through 2007, Americans pulled out $825 billion in equity. That left many homeowners with little or no equity in their homes at a critical time. As prices began to drop, some homeowners found themselves in a negative equity situation where the mortgage was higher than the value of their home. Many defaulted on their payments, which led to an avalanche of foreclosures. Today, the banks and the American people have shown they learned a valuable lesson from the housing crisis a little over a decade ago. Cash-out refinance volume over the last 3 years were less than a third of what it was compared to the 3 years leading up to the crash. This conservative approach has created levels of equity never seen before. According to Census Bureau data, over 38% of owner-occupied housing units are owned free and clear, without any mortgage. That's significantly better than the equity situation in 2008. There is no question in my mind that this time housing supplies is at a historic low. Demand is real and rightly motivated. Even if there were to be a drop in prices, homeowners have enough equity to be able to weather a dip in home values. This is nothing like 2008. In fact, it's the exact opposite. So what does all this mean? It means that if you ever thought about selling your home, now can be good time to start the planning process. If you're in the Snohomish County area, I would love to connect and listen to your needs and goals to help guide you through this journey. I am Marie Noel, and I'm looking forward to see you next week. Bye-bye.